Good evening. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor, and it's currently Monday, 7 o'clock, just maybe a minute or so afterwards on June the 1st. We're moving right along here. Again, I wanted to today's daily recap of events that affect the way you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Well, I've got two thoughts for today. Generally, I have one, but today I have two thoughts. One, what's going on? That's an interesting question all by itself. And then the second one is the Dow, maybe at 1900. Okay, and we'll get to both of those in just a couple minutes. Now, I want to start today, as we normally do, as to what's going on with the current number of COVID cases. Because, again, it's not the sole thing that's covering the country at this point in time, but it's pretty close. And it's caused the current situation. So right now, there's 1,800,000 cases right now in the U.S. Okay, those are growing by a lot. There's almost 61,000 since Friday when we spoke last year. The death toll right now from COVID is 104,000, almost 105,000, not quite. That's, again, 2,100 people since Friday when we spoke last have died from COVID. So it's still moving along big time. Now, New York still is the number two, actually the number one spot with 371,000 cases right now. They've picked up another 3,400 cases since Friday, and their deaths right now are 29,800. That's another 549 over the weekend. So their single-digit days have seemed to drop out for some reason. It could just be something with the reporting on Monday and what they do over the weekend. I don't know. We'll see what happens during the week and see if that changes a little bit or not. New Jersey still has its second highest spot with 161,000 cases, just under 161,000 cases right now. They've picked up another 2,000 cases over the weekend, which is still a big number. And their deaths are right now at 11,723. They've picked up 192 people that have died in New Jersey since Friday when we spoke last. Running out number 3 spot is Illinois. Number 4 is California. Number 5 is Massachusetts. 6 is Pennsylvania, still hasn't changed. Okay. 7 is Texas, that also has not changed. Michigan is number 8. Number 9 is Florida, and it rounds things out with number Maryland at 10. That lineup has not changed. The top 10 people have not changed since I started doing this, actually. Anyway, so that's what's going on right now. The death rates in New Jersey and New York have slowed, okay? But they haven't slowed as much as anyone would like. And for some odd reason, I don't know what's going on Monday, that the numbers are up where they were before. They were having single-digit days, or just under 100 people a day were dying for a couple of days there, and the numbers picked back up again. So that's where we're at right now, and those numbers have picked up. It's interesting though, people keep dying. Okay, the death toll keeps rising. Still no treatment, still no vaccine, and all the states, every one of the 50 states have reopened in some way, shape, or form. Some actually have never actually closed. And it'll be interesting to see what's happened. Okay. Unless right now it's you or your direct family. Okay. Most people think that these numbers are sort of manageable at this point in time with masking and social distancing. The current number of deaths, they can sort of live with it, unless, again, you're one of the people that are actually directly affected, either you, your family, or a friend or coworker, or you're one of those poor, unfortunate people on the front lines that see this stuff every day, and it's still taking a big, big toll on you, and that toll is yet to be seen. The number of depressions and deaths coming from that aren't going to be seen for another couple months yet. But it's having a major psychological impact on the people that on the front lines that have to deal with these people every day. Now, that brings me to where I want to be with the two thoughts for this day. First off, what the hell's going on? Okay, what on earth is going on right now? Okay, we're coming off of the worst pandemic since the Spanish flu in the 1900s. Over 100,000 people have already died. Almost 40 million people are out of work. Okay, and we're coming to the tail end of a month and a half of trying to be open after we've been closed for that long. Every state's trying to reopen at some point in time. Okay, there's still no treatment. There's still no vaccine for COVID. The country is stoked every possible day, every possible way in divisions by a reality show president and anything you can think of to throw at the fence and just stir the pot. He seemed to do that for some odd reason or other. Now, on top of all that, right now, there have been protests in every one of the 50 states because a black man, while in police custody, lying on the ground, was killed by a white police officer, kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes, after he was repeatedly told that the man couldn't breathe. All the while, 2 other officers were also kneeling on him or next to him, and a fourth just stood by. Now, there's nothing really new here. This isn't a new story at all. Okay, this is the same inhumane, racist treatment that's been happening for years and years and years, and it's been institutionalized. So much so that if you're white, chances are you don't even notice it most of the time, to the point that you'd actually deny it actually exists at all. And that's okay. It really is. There are still people that think the earth is flat and that the Easter Bunny was just hiding this year and he'll be out next year. Now, what has changed, however, is more and more people routinely, like they breathe, all have cell phones right now, and they're all hitting the record button. So now people are beginning to see, okay, things they've never seen before or things they've actually denied ever really existed. Now, there are curfews in over 40 states right now due to the rioting and the looting that's been taking place. National Guard has been deployed in at least 26 states right now. What really gets interesting about that is that there's also a video being posted, and there's probably more than one, of white guys dressed up in all black, wearing masks, with military precision, walking through, breaking windows, and starting fires. Now, I saw one of these videos. The guy looked stoic, okay? He had a military stance to him, military decorum to him. And he's walking past and breaking in windows. Okay, black guys are chasing him down. What the hell are you doing? But he got away. But there'll be more videos coming out, without a doubt in the world. You'll see more of this coming out. Now, I don't get out much personally. Okay, that's mostly by my choice. I'm 60 plus, and I'm retired. However, when I did, and I was working as a certified financial planner for close to 40 years with select individuals and small businesses with 0 to 6 employees. Okay, I've got a rather diverse background. Okay, I was painting handrails in South Philadelphia when I was 10 years old. I was in the Coast Guard from 71 through 76. It was the tail end of Vietnam. Okay, I ran search and rescue for 3 out of those 5 years. Okay, I went to school when I came out of the Coast Guard, worked as a respiratory therapist, a registered respiratory therapist for over 15 years. Some of that time I was working as a respiratory therapist and building my own tax practice at the same point in time, and as a consulting. Now, I didn't know until about 3, maybe 5 years ago, when I was watching TV, and another black man was killed by the police. And someone was being interviewed. It was a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, okay, Eugene Robinson. Okay, he was being interviewed, and he relayed that black moms and dads, most often the dads, have a certain conversation with their teen kids as they're growing up. And it's a terribly uncomfortable conversation to have. However, it's extremely necessary, since if you're black, okay, you really need to have this thing. And it's been going on for generations and generations. Now, if you don't know what it's about, let me be the first to let you know. It's not the sex talk. Okay. Everybody thinks that's the most uncomfortable conversation you have with your teen kids. No, it's not. Not if you're black. And I didn't know this thing even existed until 3 to 5 years ago when I heard about this interview. I said, wow, this is interesting. And it's really, really important, more so than the sex talk. It's really fundamental, especially for Black parents. Okay, it's been going on for generations. They've had to tell their kids how to behave when, not if they're stopped by the police, when they're stopped by the police. Okay? This is not, be nice to the police and be polite. No, it's not that at all. It's the things you have to do, the extra things you need to do, and the things you have to be careful not to do to give the police any excuse at all to kill you. Now, if you're a parent of a Black teen and they go out, you never really know if the next time you're going to see your kid, it might be on the evening news as a victim of the systemic police violence that's occurred over years to people of color. And as an added stress, if you're white, you don't even know that stuff exists at all. I didn't know. And I've been out and about. I didn't know. It's an important thing to know, though. Now, with all this going on, okay, all coming off of Memorial Day weekend, where the weather has been just broke and it's to the summer side of things right now. It was a gorgeous weekend and things started to look up and folks were, getting out and they're starting to have a good time. And, all those things, this thing happened out of nowhere. But now, again, more people have phones. More people's got those cameras going. More people posting those videos almost immediately. So, something to pay attention to, something to think about. And I'll tell you why in just a couple of minutes. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about today is the possibility of the Dow dropping to 1900, even as it closed today over 25,400 is where it closed today. But there was a recent survey of chief financial officers of major corporations around the globe. And more are likely to believe that the Dow is likely to retest the crash levels below 1900 before reaching another stock market record above 29 again. Now, according to the second quarter global CFO survey, and they've been having this little council thing for a while now, about 6 years or so, about 22% of global CFOs expect the Dow to reach a new high without first experiencing another major low. However, 51% of these CFOs are betting that the Dow is headed back down below 1900. Now, the bleakest outlook comes from CFOs in Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, where only 10% of the CFOs there believe that the Dow is headed for another record, versus the 70% in the same area who see another big drop in the stock market ahead. Now, many market observers argue that the recent market rallies is hard to square with the economic reality that stocks are in fact divorced from real economic conditions. And I've had this conversation a few times with you that the stock market is doing one thing, and that's lovely. It seems to be going up. It's been, basically 23, 24, 25 in that range, for a few weeks now. But the markets on Main Street are totally different than what's going on. Eventually, the two are sort of going to catch up. Now, the North American-based CFOs tilted more to the negative side, but less so than their global counterparts. On the North American side, about 46% expect the Dow to fall back below 1900, but 1/3 think that a new stock market record is going to come first. They said come first, not come at all and keep going. So that's interesting all into itself. Now, stocks were less volatile when, they've been anticipating Monday as, the economy reopened and the states after a weekend of widespread protests in the U.S. And even though they weren't certain what was going to happen, they did post a gain today. And they haven't exactly priced in what's going on with the markets just yet because, again, a lot of businesses were on the edge to begin with. They really were on the edge to begin with. They've basically been shut down and they don't have the cash flow for it, the mom and pops. Now, I was just down in Delaware over the weekend. We got a place down there and Dr. Terry and I went down, and they got major malls out there, major outlets, and those parking lots were empty, absolutely empty. Now, the rents for those places is off the wall, absolutely off the wall. $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month for rents in some of those places. Now, you go past Lowe's and Home Depot, packed, absolutely packed. Same thing with Costco's, Sam's, and Walmart's. Those places are packed. Now, 20% of CFOs in both regions think, though, that they're just not sure what the next major move is going to be. CFOs from Asia, though, were twice as likely to express uncertainty, with 37% preferring not to make a call at all on the Dow, as the rest of the Asia CFOs were more negative, with 44% expecting a decline back to the March low. Now, 2/3 of the US-based CFOs support another round of stimulus. That's what they said on the survey. 2/3 of the CFOs wouldn't mind. They think it's a good idea to have another round of stimulus. Mitch McConnell is of the current view that the next stimulus package he votes on, the fourth one, will be the last one he does. And he's in no rush to bring that one up at this point. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, the North American CFOs did not endorse the Federal Reserve considering negative interest rates, with 85% opposing the central banking concept. That's almost paying you to take money from them. Okay, they don't think it's a good idea. Now, the Global CFO Council represents some of the largest public and private companies, in the world, collectively managing more than $5 trillion of market value across a wide variety of sectors. 41 of the 130 members of this council responded to the survey, which was conducted from May 14th to May 28th. Some notable billionaire investors have issued their own warnings about the stocks and expressed fears about another leg down in the market. Okay. Oaktree Capital's Howard Marks, Appaloosa's management founder David Tapper. But views on Wall Street can change quickly, and they don't have crystal balls. They'd like to think they do, but they don't. Goldman Sachs, their strategists have pulled their recent prediction that the S&P could fall 500 below 20%. They were thinking that a while ago. Right now, they think, well, the powerful rebound means that the previous 3-month target of 2,400 is really unlikely to be realized. They wrote that on May 31st. Now, the Goldman Sachs equity strategist team sees the S&P still down at the downside, but only about 10%, not where they thought it was going to be originally. The overall economic outlook from CFOs has worsened in recent months, as they've gained a clearer picture of the damages the business will sustain as a result of COVID pandemic. The second quarter survey found that the CFOs around the world are really negative on the GDP, global domestic product, outlook in every global region, describing conditions in the U.S. as the worst terms in the history of the 6-year survey. Now, the main thing is a decrease in demand from the U.S. Consumer was cited by 80% of North American CFOs, with slightly more than half, 53%, describing its demand drop as a major influencer. Now, a little under half the North American CFOs, 46%, expect the supply chains will take between 3 and 6 months to get back to normal. Again, you got a major disruption right now. And the weather's broke. People are coming out. People want to get out. But a lot of people still don't have money. A large group of people have money and they're sitting on it. A lot of people still go into food banks. They shouldn't have to. They would never. In all their days of working, these are normal middle-class people that their jobs have just got shot to hell. And they're going to food banks to try and feed their families at this point in time. So things have changed quite a bit. And again, the American economy is a consumer-based economy. And right now, the consumers aren't spending because the ones who spend the most are the ones who are basically out of work. So why does any of this really matter to you? Really? Okay. Why does it matter? Okay. Unless and until you have enough money to buy yourself an island somewhere, almost everything that happens every day affects your ability to get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. It's that simple. Unless you've got the kind of money where you can just buy an island, move out there, and you spend the rest of your days out there, everything that happens in the world affects you in some way, shape, or form, some more than others. Now, the COVID affected you in lots of ways. Okay. If you got COVID, it obviously affected your health. If you didn't get it, then your ability to earn money for your eventual retirement was really affected. If in December or January you were thinking about planning on retiring sometime in the next 3 to 5 years, then the stock market crash in the COVID situation has put you to the point where you're wondering if you're ever going to be able to retire at all and see anything near the amount of money you're going to need for even a halfway comfortable retirement. Now, if you had enough money to begin with, okay, and most people don't, about 90% don't, okay, but if you're one of those fortunate enough, you had enough money to begin with, you're really rethinking that right now too, since you took a 20 to 30% hit with the stock market drop. Now, couple that with the very, very basic fact that once you retire, okay, you're going to need to live through at least 2, possibly 3 market crashes during your actual retirement. Now, what are you going to do when you're in your 80s and the stock market crashes? Okay, and you look around and now you've got enough cash to last for maybe just 18 months. Okay, what do you when you're 80? It's a terrible thought. However, it's one you really need to consider if you want to be remotely, comfortable in your retirement. Now, you already work for maybe 20, 30, possibly 40 plus years. Okay, do you really want to start cutting back and worrying about outliving your money when you're 80? Right now, about 40% of people who are age 50 plus already fear, running out of money more than if your death itself. Now, I know it's a common thing, but you shouldn't have to be one of those folks. You really shouldn't have to be. So if your retirement plans got wrecked this year and you'd like to put your retirement plans back on track and make sure you've got enough money, enough cash flow so that you can retire comfortably with the lifestyle that you actually want and deserve sometime within the next 3 to 5 years, go to my site, drrousenow.com. See if I can help. I can't help everybody. Again, I'm retired. I'd like to help more people, but I can't. I don't want to run a business. I'm not trying to build a big company. This is what I do in my retirement to keep myself busy and amuse myself. And I enjoy doing those things. I like to help people out. But I can't help everybody out. I just physically can't do it. And the numbers don't work that way. You need a certain amount to begin with to invest. But anyway, I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor. My only goal is to help you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Now, I appreciate spending some time with you. I know we haven't spoken since Friday. I'll be posting this video tomorrow morning, most likely, on my YouTube channel, The Real Money Doctor. And I look forward to spending some time with you tomorrow around 7 o'clock. And thank you for your time. Good night now.